Three white boys cornered the new black kid behind the school gym. They laughed, called him a name only racists dare to say. Noah didn't fight back. He didn't say a word. Because they didn't know. He'd been trained by military professionals, not to fight, but to restrain. And today, that restraint just ran out. Springfield Ridge High reeked of new money and unspoken authority. Towering glass windows, pristine corridors, and mostly white faces greeted Noah on his first day. Quiet by nature, he walked calmly, nodding politely whenever someone stared a second too long. No fights, no attitude, just neutral politeness. He wanted a clean slate. Other students swept past in designer clothes, chatting about ski trips and weekend parties. None offered a simple hello. That morning, a boy in a varsity jacket brushed past, glancing at Noah's worn sneakers. Without skipping a beat, the stranger smirked. "Hand-me-downs, huh?" he muttered, loud enough for nearby students to hear. Noah didn't flinch or respond. The boy, Cody, squinted, as though daring him to speak. He got nothing, a calm stare. Moments later, Noah passed by the old athletic wing. He noticed a battered punching bag slumped in the corner, hanging by a loose chain. He slowed down, eyes lingering on the rips, before continuing. He said nothing. There was no reason to explain. In homeroom, the teacher rattled off names, ignoring the tension in the air. Noah settled into a seat, head down, minding his business. Cody sat diagonally behind him, occasionally tapping his pen in a mocking rhythm. No words, just subtle jabs. A few students shifted in their chairs, sensing an undercurrent of something off. The teacher never seemed to notice. Noah maintained his silence, refusing to engage. Meanwhile, Cody's half-laughs and sideways glances grew more pointed, but Noah remained unreadable. By the time the bell rang, Cody looked irked, as though he expected a reaction he never got. Instead, Noah calmly packed his notebooks and left the room without a second glance, leaving Cody's ego hanging like that torn punching bag. Outside, the hallway buzzed with chatter, but it felt distant to him. Noah's second week at Springfield Ridge brought subtle but constant jabs. During first period history, someone snatched his pen off his desk while the teacher's back was turned. Noah glanced over his shoulder, but the culprit simply slid the pen into a pocket and smirked. He said nothing. Moments later, the chair behind him squeaked, then jerked backward, nudging Noah's seat. Again, he remained composed, ignoring faint snickers from 2 rows down. By midday, rumors were circulating. A junior whispered that Noah had spent time in juvenile detention. Another claimed he was expelled from his last school for fighting. Nobody confirmed anything. They just passed these half-truths along whenever he walked by. He overheard snatches of conversation. "He looks dangerous. Better watch out. Probably joined a gang." The more he stayed silent, the more they painted him as a ticking bomb. It escalated when Cody cornered him near the lockers after chemistry. Cody leaned against the metal doors, arms crossed. "So, which side of Atlanta you from?" he asked, voice dripping with mock curiosity. "Some South Side crew? Or you just lost?" Noah met his gaze but said nothing. That unreadable calm annoyed Cody more. "You can speak, right?" he pressed. Noah blinked once, then walked away, leaving Cody frowning at the lack of reaction. Later, in the crowded cafeteria, an accidental shove sent Noah's lunch tray spilling across his shirt. A group at a nearby table burst out laughing. He paused, exhaled slowly, then crouched to wipe sauce off his jeans. Kayla Monroe, seated 2 tables over, noticed the silent onlookers. She opened her mouth, then hesitated. People around her seemed oddly entertained, but she simply watched. Noah grabbed a few napkins, cleaned up, and dumped the mess, never raising his voice. The laughter fizzled into a murmur as he left for the hallway. Word spread that Noah never retaliated, which fueled more boldness among certain kids. Cody, hearing about the cafeteria incident, saw it as an excuse to push further. That afternoon, he brushed past Noah outside the library. "You planning to keep hiding behind that zipped lip?" he jeered. "Or maybe you like being everyone's punchline." Noah's expression stayed impassive, though a hint of tension flashed in his eyes. He didn't speak, just observed Cody a second longer than usual, then turned to go. Cody clenched his jaw, frustration flickering across his face. By day's end, the rumor mill was in overdrive. Whispers about Noah's juvie record grew louder, with no teacher stepping in. Students seemed eager for drama, building a narrative around him. Kayla caught glimpses, noticing Noah always took the high road, never snapping or trading insults. She wondered why nobody else saw how forced these provocations looked. Finally, near the lockers before dismissal, Cody stepped into Noah's path with two friends behind him. They circled close, blocking any exit. Cody stared him down, voice low. "Keep this up, and tomorrow you won't have any teeth left to laugh with. You understand?" Silence stretched for a few heartbeats. Then Noah lifted his gaze, meeting Cody's eyes without flinching. His voice came out calm but firm. "All right. See you tomorrow." A hush fell over the hallway. Cody's friends exchanged uneasy looks, uncertain whether Noah was backing down or promising a confrontation. Cody's lip curled in a half-smile, relishing the idea of a showdown. Noah simply stepped around them and walked off, leaving tension in his wake. Some bystanders whispered, unsure whose side to choose. Kayla stood at her locker, biting her lip, torn between speaking up or staying uninvolved. But the moment passed, and she remained silent. Tomorrow loomed, and the uneasy hush around them promised something big would inevitably break. Last bell rang, echoing through the deserted hallways. Most students rushed out, but Noah lingered by the back exit near the old archery range. The area was rarely used now, overshadowed by the new sports facilities. A crisp breeze slipped in through broken windows, stirring piles of dust. He set down his backpack, pausing at the creak of a door behind him. Three silhouettes stepped forward, Cody, accompanied by two friends named Mason and Reed. None of them smiled. They blocked any path to escape. Cody tilted his head, eyes narrowed. "You took off earlier," he muttered. "Now let's see if you still have nothing to say." Mason scoffed, crossing his arms. Reed cracked his knuckles, glancing around to confirm nobody else was there. Noah stood straighter, scanning the exit behind them. The silence pressed in, thicker with each passing second. Cody stepped closer, voice dripping with confidence. "Go on, speak up. Maybe beg a little. Or did you leave your words in that sorry excuse for a locker, buddy?" Noah's gaze flicked from one adversary to the next. His tone stayed calm. "If you wanted to keep your reputation, you picked the wrong day." Cody's smirk faltered, replaced by a flash of irritation. "Tough talk from the kid." He motioned for Mason to circle left, forcing Noah against a storage shelf. Reed squared up on the right, fists clenched. The overhead lights buzzed, flickering against chipped walls. Outside, muffled voices of departing students faded, leaving only the hollow hush of something about to erupt. Cody lunged first, swinging at Noah's shoulder. Noah sidestepped swiftly, hooking Cody's arm and guiding his momentum forward. Cody stumbled, but didn't fall, cursing under his breath. Mason leaped in, driving a knee toward Noah's side. Noah pivoted, blocked, and twisted Mason's arm in one fluid motion. In under 2 seconds, Mason yelped, hitting the ground with a thud. Reed tried to capitalize on the opening, aiming a punch at Noah's ribs. But Noah ducked low, delivering a quick, hard jab that rattled Reed's stance. Suddenly, Cody recovered, rushing behind Noah and wrapping an arm around his neck. Noah gripped Cody's forearm, shifting his weight to break the hold. A quick elbow strike to Cody's side made him gasp, loosening his grip. Noah spun, hooking Cody's foot, and slammed him onto the concrete with a controlled shove. The scuffle lasted 6 seconds. Mason lay groaning. Reed staggered, and Cody clutched his ribs, stunned by how fast things turned. Noah stood in place, breath steady, showing no desire to keep attacking. He kept his distance, ensuring none were seriously hurt. Cody tried to push himself up, face red with parts pain and disbelief. "You!" he sputtered, but no finishing insult came. Noah glanced around, verifying there were no bystanders. Unknown to him, a Blake had crept to the doorway, phone angled to record. Blake only captured half the scene. The moment Noah took down 3 opponents, missing the part where they struck first. Then Blake ducked away, footsteps echoing as he fled to post the footage. Noah stared at Cody. "This could have ended differently," he said, voice measured. Cody seethed, eyes burning with humiliation. Mason groaned, nursing his twisted arm, while Reed leaned against the wall, catching his breath. None returned Noah's gaze with bravado. For a heartbeat, the tension hung, threatening to flare again. But Noah refused to escalate. He backed off, making sure nobody followed. He grabbed his backpack, turning away with a final, one last cool glance. Cody tried to stand, wincing from the ache in his side. In the silence that followed, a faint clatter of metal echoed through the dusty corners of the archery area. Mason muttered curses under his breath, and Reed shot Cody a conflicted look. "He was supposed to be a pushover," Cody hissed, struggling to regain composure. His pride felt more battered than his body. Meanwhile, out in the main hallway, a few curious students glanced toward the back exit, alerted by faint noise. None ventured closer, suspecting trouble but not wanting to get dragged into it. Blake's video spread within mere minutes. On social media, it looked like Noah ambushed 3 guys for no reason. The caption read, "Watch out for the new kid. Dude's a beast." A shaky sequence showed Noah flipping bodies, hooking ankles, and knocking them down. Absent was any clip of Cody's taunts or their initial attacks. Comments poured in. "Dangerous. Who does he think he is? That's assault, right?" The narrative quickly morphed into a story of an angry transfer student with a chip on his shoulder. By the time Noah reached his bus, whispers had begun swirling. Classmates gawked, not sure if they should be impressed or afraid. He boarded quietly, ignoring the stares. His phone buzzed with notifications, but he pocketed it, uninterested in fueling the rumors. As the bus pulled away, a tension gripped him. He knew what twisted versions would appear online by nightfall. He glanced out the window, catching a glimpse of Cody limping near the parking lot. The day wasn't over, but the damage was completely done. Noah found out about his suspension the next morning. As soon as he entered the building, the principal's secretary directed him to the office. Word had already traveled. A video of him attacking 3 classmates had gone viral. The principal, Ms. Harlow, informed him of the temporary suspension, explaining that an investigation was underway. She also asked him to have his guardian meet with staff that afternoon. Rumors spread like wildfire. Some said Noah had threatened Cody long before the fight. Others claimed he carried weapons. He sat alone on the front steps during lunchtime, ignoring the stares of passing students. A few whispered behind lockers, pointing in his direction, while many simply hurried by, avoiding eye contact. Kayla approached, her steps tentative yet determined. She glanced around, making sure nobody else hovered too close. "I know what really happened," she said quietly. Noah looked up, weary. He didn't reply. Kayla inhaled, then continued. "I saw the entire thing behind the archery range, every punch they threw first. And there's something else." She held up her phone. "A recording from last week, Cody calling you." She hesitated, voice trembling. "He used a slur." Noah's expression hardened, a flicker of relief mixed with cautious optimism. "You caught all that?" he asked softly. Kayla nodded. "He's been harassing people for years. I stayed silent when he humiliated me at last year's assembly." She looked away, recalling a memory of Cody forcing her on stage to mock her stutter. "But I'm done keeping quiet." That afternoon, Ms. Harlow scheduled a meeting with Noah's uncle and Kayla present. Kayla played back the audio clip, Cody's harsh insults, targeting Noah's race. The principal's brow furrowed as the ugly truth emerged. Ms. Harlow promised to review the evidence immediately. Meanwhile, a few staff members seemed shocked, uncertain how they had missed such blatant aggression. Kayla stepped into the hallway, heart pounding. She nearly wavered, second-guessing if it was worth the trouble. But she remembered the shame she carried for a year, letting Cody's cruelty go unchecked. Now, she was risking her own standing, but she believed exposing the reality was necessary. Noah hovered nearby, not sure how to thank her. Instead, he offered a faint nod. Kayla returned it, quietly acknowledging their shared resolve. Outside, students pretended not to notice, though whispers grew louder with each update. The news that Kayla had recorded Cody's hateful remarks shook the narrative. People started realizing that maybe Noah wasn't the aggressor after all. A guidance counselor peeked down the corridor, calling Ms. Harlow for an urgent conversation. Kayla braced herself, knowing everything might change once the administration heard the entire audio. Noah stood by the office doors, tension coiling in his shoulders. Noah's uncle arrived quietly soon after, wearing a tense expression. Ms. Harlow announced a formal hearing to officially confirm every detail. Kayla steadied herself. A single question loomed. Would the truth overpower the rumors, or would Cody twist the story again? The answer lay just beyond that closed door. The administration concluded their investigation within 2 days. Kayla's recording left no doubt about Cody's racial slurs, and interviews revealed more students who admitted witnessing his intimidation. Ms. Harlow called a special meeting with staff and the district's athletic director. By the end of it, Cody faced full suspension, while the football team lost its eligibility for regional playoffs due to multiple conduct violations. Word spread fast. The school's star athlete had fallen hard, and no one was defending him anymore. They also forfeited any shot at the upcoming national competition, leaving fans furious overnight. Noah returned to class the following Monday. Ms. Harlow delivered a formal apology on behalf of the school, acknowledging they'd acted on partial information. Noah accepted her words but didn't celebrate. He quietly gathered his supplies and headed to third-period algebra, ignoring curious stares in the hallway. Gossip still simmered, but the narrative shifted. People recognized they'd been too quick to label him violent. Later that afternoon, he passed the old athletic wing. The battered punching bag was gone, replaced by a new, sturdier model. A freshman practiced timid jabs, clearly imitating moves he'd seen in that leaked clip. He paused, glimpsing the kid attempt a pivot that echoed the fight footage. A moment, Noah smiled. Then he moved on, letting the thought pass. The kid would figure it out. So would the rest of Springfield Ridge. The next day, Ms. Harlow announced a mandatory assembly. Students filed into the gym, low murmurs filling the air. Several teachers stood along the walls, arms folded. Noah was guided backstage, uncertain why. Then, Ms. Harlow introduced him over the microphone. He stepped forward into the spotlight, scanning hundreds of faces. Some looked ashamed, others simply curious. Noah cleared his throat, voice calm. "You all saw a video of me fighting, but maybe you missed why it started. I stayed quiet because I believed ignoring insults was safer, but silence can be misunderstood." He paused, letting that sink in. Sometimes, kindness makes you a target. Sometimes, standing up means you risk looking like the bad guy. That's the reality here. A soft rustle spread through the crowd, tension hovering in the bleachers. Kayla watched from the side, relieved that the truth was finally surfacing. Noah continued, I'm not saying we should trade punches. I'm saying we need to figure out why we let certain people abuse power while everyone else just watches. If being decent puts you in someone's crosshairs, then maybe we should redefine strength. He glanced around, voice firm. I'm no saint. I just wanted to finish school without drama. But if this taught me anything, it's that silence can be dangerous too. A faint applause started near the front row. Others joined, slowly growing louder. Noah bowed his head slightly, then stepped back, yielding the stage to Ms. Harlow. Afterwards, students shuffled out, some whispering about Cody's downfall, some about the unexpected sense of shame they felt for fueling rumors. Noah slipped outside, letting the crisp air fill his lungs. He had no desire for victory laps or revenge. As he crossed the courtyard, a few classmates offered nods of respect. Kayla approached, giving him a small smile. Noah nodded back, feeling a weight lift. For now, justice had found its mark. That was enough. Noah stepped out of the auditorium, ignoring the stares. Cody stood alone in the corner, no one by his side. Kayla followed hesitant. Do you forgive him? She asked quietly. Noah paused, gaze steady. There's nothing to forgive. Their silence is enough. He walked on, leaving Cody behind with nothing but regret. A final voiceover stated, Silence can kill or save. Choose wisely. It's your move. Spread the truth or remain silent. Have you ever seen injustice ignored? Share your experience below. And don't forget to subscribe if you believe in calm, yet unyielding justice.